So how do you build $1 million webinar presentation? And today I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And not only that, but I'm also going to walk you through a real webinar presentation that I made for one of my clients and the same exact structure that already produced millions of dollars for multiple clients that I've worked with. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Vlad. I'm a marketing consultant and copywriter and specializing in the online coaching niche. I've personally built funnels that have produced a total of over $3 million for my clients in a span of 2 years. And now I'm documenting absolutely everything that I do on YouTube, so subscribe if you haven't already, or don't, I don't really care. But this would be an in-depth step-by-step video about how to build a 7-figure webinar presentation, so I hope you're ready for all the sauce that I'm about to give you. So let's begin. So this structure has been proven to convert time and time again, especially for the online coaching niche, but not only that. But we're going to focus on the online coaching niche because this is the niche that I've worked in for years now, right? So I'm going to walk you through every section of this webinar and I'm going to show you exactly why it's there, what it means, what's the purpose of it, and how it helps convert webinar attendees from cold traffic to hungry buyers. So for context, this girl has a mentoring program, a coaching program, in which she teaches beauty professionals to make more money, market themselves on the internet, do social media marketing through organic content so they can get more clients and grow their revenue. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through the exact structure step by step. So we're starting with the title. Now the title should do 3 specific things. 1, make the product sound unique and different from anything else the ideal customer knows from the market. It should also show a really big benefit tied to the desires of the ideal client, and it should also eliminate specific objections, roadblocks that the ideal client has or had in the past. Okay, so in this instance, the title is How Beauty Professionals, that is the ideal avatar, right, are building magnetic personal brands, that is their main desire, that attract dream clients and triple their income. Again, this is their main desire, without, remember what I said, without the obstacles, without the roadblocks, right, without perfect portfolios or competing on price. Okay, and then we go on to the hook, right? This is the first part of the webinar, and this is very, very important. Also the title, but also the hook and the next part with the pain. These are very important, specifically because these parts decide if the watcher is going to stay and watch this webinar to the end, right? This is the most important thing. If you have this thing put in place in a proper manner, they'll probably want to stay and watch the rest of the webinar. If you fail in this part, it will probably kill your retention rate. Okay, so this is very important. So how do we do that? Well, we show them exactly what they're going to find out, and we tie that directly to the main benefit that they want and that interests the ideal avatar, right? In this case, I said, today I'm going to show you the exact 3-step method to turn yourself into a magnet for premium clients, the kind of clients which will grow your income by 30 to 70% in the next 6 months. So very specific outcome here, right? Even if you tried, again, the main roadblocks, right? Countless methods, even if you're busy and barely have free time, even if you felt stuck in the same financial situation for years, right? So even if you don't have time, like, we eliminate most, like, all the main objections, so they know this will work for you, even if you have insert main objections, right? And after that, we go into the next section, which is the pay. By the way, guys, if you stay until the end of this video, I'm also going to give you a free webinar template based on this structure, so you can build your own webinar using it. Okay, so let's go further. Now we go into the paying, right? Now this is very important because the main motivator of 99% of people on this earth is pay. Okay, so people are in pain, and if people realize that pain, and if people are conscious of that pain, and if people know that you know of their pain and you know them on a deep level, they will, 1, be much more motivated to take action, and 2, much more open to trust you, right? Because you understand them. So this is the reason why we use their pain and we show their pain so early in the webinar presentation. So in this instance, I just listed the common pain points of the ideal avatar using the research that I did earlier. Okay, so I said, if you're here, chances are you can relate to at least one of these. You'll be struggling for years to get noticed in the beauty industry, but you're still feeling visible. You don't dare to charge what you're worth. You feel ashamed that your work isn't appreciated. Try dozens of marketing strategies, constantly compare yourself with others. Lie awake at night asking yourself, will I ever be seen? Does my talent really matter? So we go deep into that pain, right? So if this sounds familiar, I've tell you something. It's not your fault. So this is a classic copywriting technique. Is not your fault. It's very old, but it still works and probably work like until the end of time. So you've simply been trying the wrong methods, right? And today I'm going to show you finally the methods that works, right? A unique, big thing that you've missed all this time and that will finally transform your life and give you the results that you want, right? This is what you have to show them here, okay? And after that, we go into the tease section. So the tease section is simple. You show them what they're going to learn inside this webinar, and you tease them by providing enough curiosity for them, again, to want to stay until the end and find out all this information that is basically going to transform their lives, right? So I've written some curiosity-driven bullets here. I'm not going to read them all, but you can see them. How dozens of women in the beauty industry have transformed their passion into a magnetic personal brand that attracts premium clients. The exact 3-step method to increase your income by 30 to 70% in just 6 months, and is built on 3 simple mindset shifts. You see, provide curiosity, right? I tease them. They don't know what the steps are. They see the benefits, right? They see a few details, right? But they don't know what it is. Okay, so that sparks enough curiosity in them because it ties to a very big benefit. So they just want to learn more. How to use your feminine energy to sell with ease and natural confidence. The simple pricing method me and my students used to confidently charge premium prices for our services, and why everything you see online about beauty marketing is wrong, and how to attract consistent clients without a perfect portfolio. Right? This is a common objection in this niche. I need a perfect portfolio to get clients, but no, they don't need that necessarily, right? If they apply this method, right? Then we go into a case study. Now, in this instance, with this specific client, her program is very new. This will be the first webinar that she ever hosts. So she doesn't have enough case studies. So she only has like 2 case studies. So normally you could put like 3 case studies here, or at least 2, and put more scattered in specific areas throughout the presentation. But in this instance, I only have 2 case studies, so I put one here and another one further down the presentation in a specific strategic spot, which I'm going to show you. So I've put this case study, okay, Maria, 26, makeup artist. The purpose of putting a case study here is just to show proof, right? Because I made a lot of claims here, right? They're going to do this, that, they're going to find out how to do that, how to, have some specific and big benefits. And then you have to show them some proof, right, to back up all those claims. Because if you don't back up those claims, you're just, another guru from the internet, right? And there's a lot of gurus on the internet who basically don't do what they preach. Trust is the lowest it's ever been for online coaches in 2025. So you have to instill a lot of trust and a lot of proof inside your marketing materials, okay? So I put Maria here. She double her income, double the number of clients, and so I just put some short, concise bullet points about her here and a picture. Okay. After that, the next section is the one where we excite them, right? Because remember, we put them through a lot of pain earlier. Then we teased what they're gonna learn. We showed some proof, and now we excite them, right? So it's already a roller coaster of emotions, which we put the watchers through until now, right? So now, and remember, people buy on emotion, right? Everyone buys on emotion. Like if you know marketing, like if you know even the basics of marketing, everyone buys on emotion. And now is the time to excite them, to build them up. Like We show them their pain, we make them realize the pain, and now we excite them, right? We build them back up. So they're actually excited and hopeful to what they're going to find out and that they're going to actually have results. So I said here, after this webinar, you know exactly what to do to become magnetic, appreciated, and well paid, right? You'll be able to attract premium clients who value your work and pay the right price, have unshakable confidence in your worth and communicate it with no shame, become the go-to choice in your area, recognized and respected, feel beautiful, powerful, and magnetic in every situation, and magnetic in every interaction, and enjoy financial freedom and live comfortably doing what you love. Now remember guys, this niche is made up of women, so women are much more emotional than men, so they need to hear all these things. They actually need all these things, right? So actually this entire mentoring program is not only built around how to attract more clients, but also how to feel better, how to have more confidence, how to feel beautiful and so on, right? Whatever women want, right? Especially in this niche. So that's why it's very important to know your audience, to research your audience, to know exactly what they need and how they need it, so you can better market the specific product that you're promoting inside your webinar, right? So after we excite them, then we go into the story, right? So this is one of the most important sections in the webinar because the story does two things, right? First, it makes the watcher relate to the guru, right? So that's a very important thing, to be relatable, right? So they just feel closer to you when they see a relatable story, relatable, situation, relatable emotions that the guru went through. And also it provides proof and trust, right? Because I'm also talking about the credentials, what they achieved, how they discovered the method, and so on, right? So this is basically the basic hero story that many of you might have know from reading sales pages or watching other webinars and so on. So what you have to keep in mind here, you're not necessarily talking about the guru here when you're writing the story, or about yourself if you are doing a webinar for yourself. You are actually talking about your ideal client here, right? So every emotion that you show here, every situation, everything that you went through, you have to make it relatable directly to the ideal client. Okay, that's the purpose here. So this sister's, she has a story. She was working in traffic police, right? A job that she loves. She has stability, but she also had a passion for makeup, right? At first, she did makeup at home, then she went in the chair at the salon, later opened the salon, eventually founded a beauty academy. For years, she was combining police work with makeup, and she was left exhausted, right? She was leaving early in the morning, came home late at night, only to prepare for the next day. It was a tough time. She felt frustrated and stuck. So she was constantly wondering, why can't I do more? Why are others more visible, more successful than me? So these are the exact words that the ideal avatar, the ideal client is asking herself, right? That's why I package all of these stories packaged to be relatable to the ideal avatar. Like, you can change little details in the story. I'm not saying to lie, but you can change little details to make it 100% or as much as possible related to the avatar, right? That's the most important thing. They have to see themselves in her, right? They don't have to, we're not talking about the guru, we're talking about them here. They have to feel it, they have to see themselves, right? Talking about their situation, their emotions, what they're feeling right now, what's happening in their life right now, okay? That's very important to understand. Now, when I have my first child, so now I'm talking about how she, discovered how to do things properly and change her life, right? And actually have the result that she wanted. So she left her police job, she followed her true passion, and then she realized, she had the epiphany, right? It wasn't lack of talent or lack of work that was holding her back, it was fear, right? Fear, not having confidence in herself, and so on, right? So fear of changing the right price, fear of putting myself out there, fear of being judged. And so these are the exact word by word fears that I found through doing avatar research. Okay, so these are the fears of the ideal avatar. Once I overcame those fears, I regained my confidence and started building everything you see around me today. So my results today, now I'm showing proof, right? I'm showing proof. I'm a single mom, raising 2 kids. I own 2 houses worth, whatever, hundreds of thousands of euros. A beauty academy valued at 250,000 euros. A seaside apartment at a 50,000 euros car. Now, it's very important to mention this when you talk about, these kinds of numbers or these kinds of proof, right? I'm not sharing this to brag. I'm sharing this because I want you to understand it's possible. Okay, so you have to say this in an inspirational tone, right? So you don't just seem like a jackass, right? So even if you start at zero, even if you have doubts and fears, you can build the exact life you dream of. And now I'm helping the first women transform their brands through my Be Seen program, right? And now I'm doing this like, I don't see many people do this, but I like to do this, and I noticed it creates a lot of trust and it actually increases conversions. So I'm being very transparent, right? Like, because this is probably not the first webinar people attended. So they probably attended enough webinars to know that at the end of each webinar, with no exception, they're being sold something, right? So the purpose of a webinar at the end of the day is just to sell something. So I'm being transparent from the start. I'm just stating the obvious, right? But people appreciate that, being transparent, right? So saying, yes, at the end of this webinar, you have the opportunity to work one-on-one with me. But before that, I'll show you the exact steps you need to become a magnetic beauty professional, right? So I'll show you exactly what you need to do, but I'll also make you an offer to work with me, right? So people appreciate that. Don't be afraid to be transparent, because people obviously know that you're trying to sell them something, right? So don't be afraid to be transparent. This is very important, okay? So the next section is the paradigm shift. Okay, so this is a very important section as well, because here I'm talking about, why everything they tried and why everything they know about this specific thing that they try to do is wrong, right? So it's basically turning their world upside down and prepare them to find a new, easier, and better method that will work for them and that will actually transform their lives, right? So right here, I'm saying the problem isn't that you don't know enough makeup techniques. The problem isn't that you're not working hard enough. The problem is that you've been trying to become visible by using masculine strategies in the feminine industry, right? So also women in beauty try to copy what they see others doing, posting obsessively, comparing themselves constantly, chasing perfection in every picture. But underneath all of this is a bigger issue: fear of being judged, right? You think, if I post this, what will people say? If it's not perfect, I'll embarrass myself. If I charge the price I deserve, they think I'm arrogant, right? So again, this is all research, almost copy and pasted from my avatar, my ideal client research. Okay, so you have to have your research on point. Otherwise, you'll never be able to write good marketing copy, good webinars, good marketing materials in general, right? You're just not going to do it. So have your research on point, right? If you don't know how to do ideal client research, watch the video that probably appeared on the screen right now, because I have a video where I explain exactly how to do that. Okay, let's go further. And because of this fear, you either don't post at all, you post rarely and without confidence. So I go into what they do right now, right? And then I tell them the truth is the beauty industry is built on trust, emotional connection, right? Clients don't just buy service, they buy experience, they buy transformation. So they want to feel understood, valued, and beautiful. So masculine, I'm just telling them why what they tried before or what they try right now doesn't work, right? Because I'm preparing them to see the alternative, right? And I'm packaging the alternative of this program, the product, as the better, the best alternative. And, basically the thing that's going to bring them to their dreams, goals, and aspirations, right? Very important. So here the problem is basically that they tried masculine strategies, but instead they need to apply feminine strategies that are based on authenticity, controlled vulnerability, energy of abundance, so on. So they don't just attract clients, but they give you the courage to show up without fear because you're no longer trying to impress anyone. So you're simply being you, right? When you align your strategy with the feminine energy, everything becomes easier and more nature. Okay. So as you can see, I educate them a lot until now, right? They just find out a lot of information. And basically until now, they already know why what they tried before didn't work. They know that I know what they tried before, I understand them, right? And I tell them the specific reasons why it didn't work. And I also tell them what they need to do instead, right? I just don't tell them how to do that yet, but I tell them what to do, right? Then I show them another case study. Again, this is a strategic place. This is a strategic point to place another case study or multiple case studies, let's say 2 or 3 more, because now they know why what they did before didn't work and what they need to do. And then I show them proof again, right? Again, I made some claims, right? Then I show them a proof. So as a rule, in copywriting or marketing, it doesn't matter if you do webinars, sales pages, VSLs, and so on. A rule of thumb is to show proof after every claim that you make, especially after every big claim. Okay, so this is other proof, right? This woman, before she was stuck, few clients, lots of insecurity, so on, fear of charging more, lived in constant stress, and so on. After applying the BCN method, she changed her mindset and self-image. She started charging what she felt she deserved, and she became more relaxed, no longer chasing clients. Now clients come to her naturally, right? So basic before and after, right? Make it short, make it punchy, make it efficient and concise. Okay. If you have pictures of, let's say, I don't know, income, invoices, just as much proof as you can show here in images, screenshots, and so on, you can put them here, right? So for example, if you have like, I don't know, a case study of someone who made, I don't know, $5,000 using the method, just put the invoice there or put something, a bank statement or something, just to show the proof. The more proof that you show, the better, right? In this case, I just don't have any yet. Okay, so I'm just using what I have from this client. So after this comes the actual value and the actual, information that I'm going to show inside this webinar, right? So we're showing the mechanism now. We're just showing and presenting the mechanism and the entire method that they can use to, achieve the results that they want. So the 3 secrets of the BCN method. Right, so I actually added another slide here because it was missing. So I have a slide in which I show basically the 3 steps of the method. You can call it you can call them secrets, you can call them steps, you can call them whatever you want. Sometimes I like to call them secrets, but now the Russell Brunson style. But yeah, you can call them steps if you feel cringed out by calling them secrets. I know some people do, right? So why 3? Why not 2? Why not 4? Why not 10? Well, guys, I just know it works, right? I've studied the best marketers in the world, like Russell Brunson and other OGs in the space. So it just works, right? Don't ask me why. The 3 number works best, it's simple to understand, it's not too much. It's not, it's enough information to make them feel that they have value and it's structured in a easy to understand way. Also enough for them to feel that they get enough value to make their time worth in this webinar, and also, maybe feel that they want to know more and buy the action program, right? So I know some marketers say, okay, I have to address specific limiting beliefs in each of the secrets. And yes, I do, right? I do address limiting beliefs. I address limiting beliefs in, the whole webinar, not only here, but I don't really think a lot about here I have to address this limiting belief, here I have to address another limiting beliefs. I just do it like naturally, right? I try to address every limiting belief that I find from the research that I do through the entire webinar, right? I'm not going to show you exactly how to do the next section, in which we basically explain each of these steps, right? And give them a lot of value on what they need to do and what they can do right now to have better results in what they want to do, right? So I don't just give them a bunch of fluff. I give them, tangible steps and things that they can do right now to see better results, okay? So that does two things. One, they feel that they're given enough value, to create reciprocity feeling, and for them to want to maybe be open to work with you more, to work with you further and buy the actual program that is being presented at the end. And two, even if they don't buy the program, they will be given enough value that some of them will apply it, they'll have results, and maybe they come back to buy later. Okay. A lot of people don't buy from the first webinar interaction, but they buy at the second webinar interaction, or they buy from an email they receive after, or they buy from a WhatsApp message, or they buy after they get a call from a salesperson from that business, maybe 2 weeks down the road, or 1 month down the road, or so on. I have clients that get sales from people who watched over 50 of their webinars. So I have clients who actually host weekly live webinars, and they make sales from people who actually watched 40 to 50 plus of their webinars, right? So for over a year, some of them have been following them for over 2 years, and they buy after watching tens of webinars, guys. So the more value you give, the better. Now, there's the question, how much value is too much, right? So obviously, you have to hold something, right? So obviously you're not going to give them the entire method because one, you don't have time to do that, right? And two, of course, they're not going to want to buy the program, right? So give them enough for them to feel helped, right? But don't give them all the method because you can't even do that at the end of them. But because it would be hard to even do that, it would just take too long, right? Probably, depending on your program, of course. And like people will not even apply it, right? So most people, if they don't have a mentor or a coach, they just don't apply the information. So don't think that, okay, I'm just holding information back, I'm just, not being transparent. No, you're doing them a service, you're making them buy the product so they actually get results, right? Because if you leave them to their own devices, they probably won't do anything, right? Their lives will stay the same, right? So you're actually doing them a service by holding a bit of information back, making the webinar as persuasive as possible so they buy the program and they have the most chances of getting results. Okay. So as I said, then you have different slides for every secret, right? Obviously, you arrange the text in an easy to understand, in an easy to read manner. Maybe you make it a little shorter to put it on the slides. Maybe you separate or you split sentences into shorter paragraphs. But you basically talk about each secret on different slides. So in this instance, secret one, authentic feminine energy. You don't need fake confidence. You just need to reconnect with your inner beauty and power, right? When you realize your worth doesn't depend on other people's validation, but on the authenticity with which you express your talent, you automatically become magnetic, right? Clients feel that energy and are drawn to it. So now I give them a practical exercise, right? Something that they can do starting right now and have results. And guys, this really works. Like this works even. You don't have to be like a woman in the beauty niche to do this. Like I do this sometimes, right? And it works. It just prepares your mindset to, focus on the good things in life and be more positive, be more grateful. And it skyrockets your productivity and everything. So it really works. So every morning, spend 10 minutes celebrating one small win from the day before. This rewards your brain to see abundance instead of scarcity, right? Then we go into secret two, the strategic content system, right? So now we're going into more tangible stuff. So we're talking about how to post on social media. So we don't need to post every day or be perfect, just need a clear content system that works for you. We give them a formula, right? The 3-1-1 formula, 3 value posts per week, tutorial, tips behind the scenes, 1 personal post, about your story, vulnerability and everything so people relate with you, and 1 social proof post, guide results, testimonials before and after, so on, right? So also talk about the timing, okay, post between these hours, so on. Engagement templates, right? So here I'm giving them like an actual template and an example of a post that they can do. So I've used AI to do this. I'm probably gonna talk with her and tell her to, her is my client, right? To give me like a specific post that she did and that had a lot of traction. So I just put the example here, or maybe she can show it on the share screen right beside the webinar. But I put an example here of a post. So I just provide a lot of value, right? I tell them things, I educate them, and I show them tangible things that they can do right now to make the first steps and also maybe have their first results, right? And after that, we go into the third step, the premium pricing strategy. So again, I found in my ideal client research that these women have problems in setting their prices to the level that they want, right? So I tell them how to set higher prices without feeling guilty or without feeling weird. So you don't need aggressive selling, you need a clear positioning and pricing system that reflects your value, the premium pricing formula, right? So I tell them how to, set their prices, right? How to present them in a way to, make it, how to present them in a good way so they don't feel weird about it, okay? And it has the most chance of, people being open to them. I also have a script, again, provide a lot of value for presented prices. So my full service package is priced and equals these benefits. And the best part is main emotional benefit. When would you like to book? Right? And I also give them an example here, right? My full bridal makeup package is 650 euros. It includes a personalization consultation, 12 plus hour lasting makeup, premium skincare and makeup products. The best part is you look flawless all day without ever needing to retouch. And why would you like me to book you in, right? I also tell them what to say if the client negotiates. So I'm giving them a lot of them, right? You get a picture by now, but at the same time, if you're, paying attention, this is not enough for them to, build a 100,000 follower personal brand in a beauty niche, right? They don't have a chance, right? Yeah, maybe they can have a few more clients, maybe they can make more money, they can raise their prices, but it's not gonna grow like a solid personal brand only with this information, right? And it would have been impossible to, show the entire strategy here, right? It's impossible in a 90-minute webinar, right? So that's an important thing to understand. So after we present like the system, the method, and the steps, I'm just making a summary, right? With these three strategies, you have a clear system to attract and keep premium clients who truly value your work. Okay, I'm just summarizing what they'll gain if they apply these steps. Okay. After that, we do the commitment part, and this is very important. We make it sound very easy, right? We make it say, hey, do you see yourself applying these three simple steps to become magnetic in the beauty industry and attract clients who will pay you what you truly deserve? That's really all it takes, right? No extra hours of work, no forced perfection, no pushy sales tactics, right? So I'm exciting them again, but I'm also making them commit, right? Do you see? I make them visualize themselves applying this, right? I make them visualize themselves applying everything I've just taught them and having the results that they want, living the life that they want. I make them visualize it again, emotion, right? And putting them into an emotional state because this part was all logical, right? Most of it. And now we're getting back into emotion because again, people buy on emotion, right? And now is the time for the transition. Now, many people don't know how to do this. This is actually very easy, right? The transition to the closing part, to the selling part, to the offer, whatever you want to call it. This is actually very easy if you know how to do it. So I like to do it this way. I've stolen this transition from the king of webinars. I don't remember his name, Flynn something, but yeah, shout out to him. He's really good on webinars. Learned a lot from him. So for us, I'm doing it like this, Tasha. But I've also put my own touch to it, which I think it makes it even better. Okay, so I'm doing it like this. I'm saying now, after all that I showed them, right now, if I left you with this knowledge and go and apply it all on your own, it would be a worthy idea to pursue, right? So I'm telling them they can do it on their own, right? But let's be honest. How many times have you tried applying advice from books or videos only to quit after a few weeks? Not only because you are incapable, but because the moment you hit your first obstacle and had no one to guide you, it was too easy to slip back into old habits. So I'm telling them, you can do this on your own, but basically it would be hard, right? It would be very hard. And then I'm presenting another easier, faster, more efficient, better alternative, right? Which is basically buy my shit, right? So I'm saying this is why I created an alternative where you don't have to do this alone. A path where I personally work with you and guide you step by step until you're consistently attracting premium clients who come for who you are and the value you provide. No, I'm just reiterating the benefits, right? Until you feel total confidence in yourself and never again fear charging the right price, until you're visible and respected in the beauty industry without hiding or comparing, until you have stable income and the freedom to choose the clients you want to work with. And if this feels like it could help you, in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how it works and how I can personally help you grow your visibility, your confidence, and your income by 30 to 70% in just 6 months. And now I'm just asking them permission to do the offer, right? So I'm making them agree for the offer. I'm making them type yes in the chat if they want to see the offer, right? And when you do this, we basically get like tens or even hundreds of yeses in the chat, depending on how many attendees. So if you have like a few hundred attendees live, we can get like a few tens of yeses in the chat. So I know some of you may have a fear. What if no one says yes? That's not possible. Like if you do everything here correctly, right? There's not a chance of this earth that people will not say yes in the chat. Okay, so don't worry about that. But asking permission is very important because you make them open to buying to you, right? You make them open to seeing your offer. You make them agree and wanting to hear your offer, right? So this is very, 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 very important. Okay. So after you get a bunch of yeses in the chat, you just transition into the offer, right? The offer is, the Be Seen program, right? Now I'm just talking about the program and everything they get inside it and all the benefits that they get inside. Okay. So a 6-month one-on-one mentorship program designed for women in the beauty industry who want to grow their visibility, build an authentic personal brand and increase their income by 30 to 70%. Just reiterating all the benefits, right? And then I'm going to show what they get. Okay. So this is obviously on separate slides. Okay. So the Be Seen fundamentals, a step-by-step course plus one-on-one support from me, access to an exclusive community of women on the same journey, weeks 1 to 2, clarity on vision and goals, intention setting, first pro social media demos, weeks 3 and 4, inner confidence, showing up online without fear, handling anxiety, right? Then we go into the premium strategy. So I'm just laying down exactly what they get inside the program. This is not rocket science, guys. This is the easy part, right? I'm just telling them what they get inside the program and what will their, journey be once they get inside the program, okay? Accelerating results, right? We get to week 24, right? Advanced growth, monetization strategies, premium offers, and so on, right? And then I'm also talking about, personal one-on-one mentorship. So one-on-one sessions with me, personal feedback on time, ongoing WhatsApp support whenever you need, and the private community or exclusive community, right? Networking with other successful professionals, 2 group calls per month for Q&A and shared learning, and peer support and exchange of opportunities. Right, so I've laid out everything they get inside the program, right? Wrong. There's more, okay? So here we go into the bonuses. And for the bonuses, you should only have one specific thing in mind, which is make everything that you laid out in the program seem better, faster, and more achievable through the bonuses, right? So everything that they may feel that they're missing from the program, they receive through the bonuses. So the goal with the bonuses is to make, people who are not yet convinced or persuaded to, is that last drop that they need for them to be convinced. Like make it such a no-brainer that they actually feel stupid not buying. That's the purpose of the bonuses. So you can actually consciously leave some things out from the program, some very important things that you actually know is very important for the ideal client in order to achieve results, and they know it. just leave it out and put it as a bonus, right? Because they're gonna think, oh, I also get this. This is exactly what I was missing. Now I have to buy, right? Think of it like this. So for the bonuses, I'm saying, okay, I love rewarding women who take fast action. So that's not all you receive if you apply today. So I'm making it seem like only participants of this webinar will get access to those bonuses. Now, is it true? Probably not, but I'm just making it seem like way. So I actually also provide urgency through the bonuses. Okay, this is another very important factor. So I'm saying I've also prepared a few special bonuses exclusively for those who apply directly from this masterclass. So I have 3 bonuses here. You can make 3, 4, even 5. It doesn't matter. 3 is the minimum, I would say, right? So bonus 1, social media makeup and photography masterclass, right? You get access to a complete masterclass where I walk you through step by step how to create flawless makeup demos for social media. You also learn how to photograph and film yourself the right way, what lighting to use, and how to highlight the beauty of your work so you actually attract more online visibility and premium clients. Okay, so this is a very important aspect that the women that want this may have missed, right? Because this is a very important aspect. They need to know good photos on their Instagram. They need to know how to film themselves so they look good on camera, how to do quality videos on camera. So this is like one of the most important things in this niche and with this product. So I've put it as a bonus, right? Now the second bonus is the premium pricing guide. This is another one of the main problems that the ideal client has. So they don't know how to set higher prices for the services and they settle for low prices. So it's a practical little guide that shows you exactly how to calculate, communicate, and confidently stand by your premium prices. You receive ready-made templates for client conversations, proven formulas for handling objections, and clear strategies to ask for and receive the price you deserve, right? No fear, no excuses, no endless negotiations. Very, very, very important for this specific ideal client. Okay. Now, the third bonus is the daily ritual of presence and charisma. Okay. Another thing that's very important for this ideal client. A step-by-step guide to the daily ritual I personally use to raise my energy, maintain inner beauty, and communicate with confidence and charisma. You learn simple practical exercises that give you a magnetic state from the very first hour of the morning, so you feel secure in yourself, radiate authenticity, and naturally attract the right clients. Okay, so these are the bonuses, right? Now, for a rule of thumb, I may put this bonus first because the rule of thumb would be to just put the best bonus last. So I may just put this first, put this second, and put this last because this may be the most important one in my opinion. But yeah, that's a rule of thumb. Like because people forget things very fast, so it's better to put the best things last so they're the most fresh in their memory, if it makes sense. Now comes another very important part. I mean, all of these parts are important, guys, and the order is important. Each one of these parts is important. So, for example, here we have the risk reversal, so the guarantee, right? Having a guarantee in your webinar is very, very, very important. Okay, it actually skyrockets your conversion rate. Okay, so the guarantee here sounds like this. And to show you how confident I'm in this program, here's my guarantee. If you apply every step of this method, dedicate at least 30 minutes a day to your brand, join all the guru calls, and still don't grow your income by at least 30% within 6 to 12 months, I refund you 100% of the money. And I'll even transfer you an extra 500 euros as an apology for wasting your time. Okay, no brainer, right? Like, this is how much I believe in this program. This is how much I trust this program, right? It's impossible for you not to succeed if you apply all the steps, right? So it seems realistic, right? I also tell them, hey, if it doesn't work, I give you 500 euros, right? Like, it's a no-brainer. Then we have the scarcity section. So because I work personally one-on-one with everyone in this program, which means my time is extremely limited. Right now I have only 8 spots open. Once they are filled, the next chance will likely be in 2-3 months when spots open up again. So guys, I cannot stress enough how important is having scarcity in your marketing funnels. Okay. Scarcity is the most, I wouldn't say the most important, but it's crucial to have in your marketing funnels. Okay. If you don't have scarcity, it's a very high chance most people will just not buy, right? Because we as humans are just procrastinators, right? We like to procrastinate, right? Like even you right now watching this, ask yourself how many times did you see an opportunity or something that, or product or service or just an opportunity that, you could have taken, right? And you knew for a fact it will help you, but you didn't act on the spot, right? And maybe you say, hey, maybe I'll do it tomorrow, maybe I'll do it in 1 week. And you ended up just not doing it and just forgetting about it, right? Ask yourself, how many times have you done that, right? I can say I've done that a bunch of times. Okay. So it's just how we are as humans. If you don't have like some sort of scarcity or urgency, it's very hard for us to make decisions, right? So I give you another example for one of my clients. Like I send regular newsletter, marketing emails for one of my clients, and sometimes sales come through, sometimes sales don't come through. So it's a hit or miss. But I've made campaigns for this guy based on scarcity, like price discount campaigns or price increase campaigns that basically generated this guy like tens of thousands of dollars in the span of a few weeks. Okay, money that he would have made maybe in, I don't know, half a year with regular newsletter emails, only because they had that scarcity, right? They had that scarcity, like, the price goes up in 1 week. If you don't buy now, the price will go up forever. They just buy on autopilot, right? Because they have that scarcity. The same with price discount. The same if spots are limited, right? They just they just want to buy. Okay, it makes them make the decision because they cannot make it later. You force them to make the decision now. So this is crucial, guys. Now you don't have to lie in a mentoring program. Like it's easy to do, like scarcity. Like, okay, I work with everyone one on one, so spots are obviously limited. If it's a physical product, you can say something like, there's a limited quantity available of this specific product. The manufacturing process is, complicated. We cannot we cannot manufacture enough pieces to sustain demand. So we have only a limited, you can say like having specific numbers works very well. Not just saying, hey, limited quantity, just have a specific numbers. We have only 334 pieces left this week, right? Just make it specific. The more specific are, the better, right? Again, if it's coaching or consulting, you can say something like, no, my team has only 30 spots open for calls this week. After that, we don't know when we have more spots open because we have a very, very, very high demand for our product. So after the spots are filled inside this webinar, we don't know where we have more spots filled. You may have to wait months. So you can do that. Like make it seem realistic, okay? And try not to lie if you can. If you want to lie, you can, but I don't recommend it, right? But if you want to lie, just make it as believable and realistic as possible, right? Because at the end of the day, you're just making people make a decision that will better their lives, especially if market a good product which actually produces results, or if you have a good product that you're making a webinar for and is good, it produces results, right? It's not unethical to, do that. Okay. But I still don't recommend lying. Just try to make it as realistic and specific as possible when it comes to scarcity. You can also do scarcity or urgency in another way, which is the cost of not acting now. And I give you an example, maybe for the fitness niche or the weight loss niche, you can say, how many years have you, postponed starting your weight loss journey? What will happen if you continue to go down this road 1 week, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road? How will you feel then? You can also talk about, the dangers of remaining, overweight, heart disease, diabetes, and so on. Going to a lot of emotions that way. How will your kids feel when we're gonna be, in that situation, not being able to play with your kids and so on, right? How will you feel when you're, X years old and you can't even, play with your kids or taking care of them? You can do that, right? And you can find ways of, presenting the cost of inaction for any niche. Okay. That was just a very easy example out the top of my mind for the weight loss niche. But just have some kind of scarcity, guys. That's crucial. Okay. And now comes the CTA, right? The CTA in this instance is to schedule a call because we're selling a high ticket program and we're not giving away the price in the presentation. We're selling a high ticket program, which in this case is 1,500 euros. So the CTA is to book a call. People will meet with a closer from this girl's team, and the closer has the role to persuade, this lead that booked the call to basically buy the program. Okay. So here's the first CTA. We're gonna have 2 more CTAs further down, right, until the end. So this is the first CTA, right? An offer will appear in the chat for the webinar for them to book the call. So I'm saying if you want to find out more about how everything works and how I can help you, schedule a one-on-one consultation call with me through the lead in the chat. Okay, simple. During this call, we'll take a close look at the situation, how and if I can help you, and then we'll see if we can work together. Okay, simple. But this is not the end, guys. So you have the hook, you have the pain section, you have the teasing section, you have the case studies, you have the excite section, then you have the story, right? Then you have the paradigm shift, another case study, the mechanism, right? The 3 secrets. Okay. Then you have the commitment part. Then you have the transition. And then you have the offer. Then you have the first CTA. Then you have the bonuses to convince those who are not convinced yet. Then you have the guarantee again. So everything after the first CTA, guys, is just to convince people who are not persuaded yet, who didn't take the step yet, to book the call. It's just to convince those remaining people. Like do that through bonuses, through risk reversal, through scarcity, and so on, right? And also through the Q&A box. So this is everything that you need, guys. This is the entire structure that you guys need. And now, because you stayed until the end, I'm also going to give you the entire templates for you to, follow when you make your own webinar, either for yourself or for your clients, if you're a marketer or copywriter. So if you go in this video's description, you can find the entire webinar structure there, okay, with the templates, with each section right there, okay. Now, if you are interested in having someone help you do webinar presentations like this, maybe you're an online coach, maybe you're a marketer or copywriter, maybe you work a 9 to 5 in a corporation and you want to become able to create presentations like this to either promote your own product or service that you want to launch, or provide this as a service to other businesses and make money as a copywriter or as a marketer. There is also the option to work one-on-one with me. Okay, I have a mentoring program in which I work one-on-one with people and I help them do marketing materials exactly like this webinar presentation, exactly like 7-figure sales pages that I've written for my clients that they've produced me like tens of thousands of dollars in commissions as a freelance copywriter, or things like entire marketing campaigns, entire email campaigns, and everything that you need in order to be able to become a 6-figure copywriter or marketer and work with clients and get paid thousands or even 5 figures a month for the work that you do. Or if you're an online coach or want to become an online coach and want to know exactly how to build funnels like this from start to finish, because for a webinar funnel, you don't only need this webinar presentation. You need good ads to promote the webinar and bring people in. You need good nurturing sequences on email or WhatsApp messages to have a good show operate. You need a good follow-up sequence to persuade the people who haven't bought through the actual webinar to buy your product or service. You need a bunch of things in order to do that, right? So if you want to work one-on-one with me, so I can personally help you build all of that, and not only that, but also how to get clients on a consistent basis if you're a freelance writer or marketer, or want to become one, how to deliver your work for those clients, how to keep those clients, how to make profitable deals with those clients. If you want to do any of that, you can book a one-on-one call through the calendar in the description of this video. There will be a few questions you have to answer in that calendar before you book the call. So I know who I'm talking to before I get with you on a call. You can book a day and a time right there in the calendar, and we'll see if you're a good fit for my one-on-one mentoring program. Okay? So book your one-on-one call if you're interested. If not, I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, because there's a lot more coming, guys. A lot of value will be given on this YouTube account. So prepare for that. All right. See you in the next one.